Tropical Storm Elsa, which was a hurricane, I believe this morning, if not definitely last night and earlier in the day before. But it is currently a tropical storm. It has been downgraded from a hurricane, although it's looking possible that it could re-intensify to a hurricane prior to getting to Cuba. Now let's take a look at the warnings and watches for tropical storms. As you can see, there's warnings for Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti, while watches for the Florida Keys, Cuba, and the Cayman Islands at this current moment in time. More watches and warnings are likely to be placed on Florida and Cuba as the storm progresses. Current hurricane watches and warnings: there's a hurricane watch out for Cuba, while there's a hurricane warning for that western tip of Haiti, the southwestern tip of Haiti at this current moment in time, although that is likely to be lifted in the next coming hours or sometime later tonight or into the early portions of the morning. Current winds are at 65 miles per hour or 55 knots with a pressure of 1,004 millibars. Movement west-northwest at 17 miles per hour, which is significantly down from the 31 miles per hour that it was this morning. I'm still not sure whether the storm is going to intensify. The storm, in my opinion, is still full of wild cards on what it's going to do or what it can do. If the conditions are right, it could re-intensify. I'm not going to say it's a major. I'm not ruling out the complete possibility. I'm not saying it won't be a major. I'm saying that the odds have significantly decreased as time moves on and it continues to weaken. But I will note, if you take a look at that satellite imagery, that long wave IR imagery from Tropical Tidbits, it is looking really well and it's starting to get that convective burst around the center. And if it can fully wrap off, it could mean pretty bad things and rapid intensification possible. Again, this storm has so much in the air, it's really hard to predict intensity right now because of how many variables there are. If it does this, it could completely change the outcome of the storm, rather if it had done this, and it is likely that it could go anyway, so I'm not really going to... The intensity guidance is hard right now. So this is the intensity guidance and forecast track. I only have it intensifying very slightly from this point to 70 miles per hour and will likely make landfall at some point between the 24 to 48 hour mark in Cuba. And that will likely decrease it down to 60. I think it might get up back to 65 before remaking landfall in Florida after crossing through a very small portion of the Gulf, which isn't quite as favorable, but still a little favorable, but not quite as favorable as the Caribbean. After that, I just see it completely weakening, obviously, as it will be over land. Like I said, the intensity guidance is really all over the place at this current moment in time, so it's really hard to predict what the storm is going to do intensity-wise, although the track is pretty set at the moment. Current wind radius, you can see those tropical storm force winds reaching out to Haiti. Slightly still, it was all over Haiti earlier, the southern portions at least, and might kind of breeze over the northern portions of Jamaica, maybe even southern if it extends out farther from the center. Not looking as likely anymore that Jamaica will receive tropical storm force winds as you go farther south, but likely that it will at least breeze over some portions of northern Jamaica at this moment. Current sea surface temperatures are very warm for the storm, and the graphic is a little glitched. The graphic is glitched and you cannot see the sea surface temperatures, but it's basically the same that it's been for the past couple of updates. If you need sea surface temperatures or wind shear at this current moment in time, just go to my previous update and check that out there, and it's essentially the same thing. Or just go look it up online, whatever floats your boat. Same thing for the wind shear that I just said for the sea surface temperatures, but here's the rainfall, and as you can see, the rainfall has increased. I only really honestly thought that it would be maybe 5 to 6 inches, but the storm has slowed down a lot more than I expected to and a lot faster. So I think that there could be more rainfall in Cuba than previously expected, maybe 6 to 8 inches at this moment in time, which is a huge increase on what I previously thought. Maybe even 10 to 12 inches in isolated areas. Current wind likelihoods. I do not think it is that likely that it will get above 80 anymore. But always, like I said, the intensity is so up in the air right now that it's really hard to forecast anything. That 100 to 125 area is meant to be orange, but some graphical errors with this video so far, but it is okay. You know the information, and that is all that really matters. Surge has not glitched out, and as you can see, I'm thinking likely up to 5 feet maybe in Cuba, maybe 6 feet at the utmost, probably more like 4 to 5 feet in Cuba, maybe even only 3 feet. It just really depends on the angle that it comes in and how strong it gets before getting to Cuba as well. Rainfall, like I said, has increased, likely that it will reach 8 to 12 inches at some point, although I do think that is kind of the capping point. Maybe 13 to 14, 15 inches, but I do not think anything higher than that, as it is still moving quite fast at 17 miles per hour. But it is slowing down. I could see this realistically getting maybe down to 15, 14 miles per hour in movement speed from this point on, before maybe picking up the pace again as it moves farther north. Current potential damage index is a stage 4 for Cuba. After it passes over Cuba, we will be doing this for Florida, but Cuba is the next imminent threat from the storm, so we are doing Cuba. Currently a stage 4, expecting maybe 5 feet of surge at the utmost, while the wind scale is calling for 70 miles per hour, but like I said, intensity is really up in the air, at least in my opinion, at this current moment in time. Rainfall up from a 3, which was yesterday, now at a 4 due to it slowing down faster than I expected and more than I expected. And you can just kind of get an idea of where those areas are. You can see those yellows, greens scattered about Florida and the Caribbean and the Greater Antilles, which is a part of the Caribbean at this moment in time. Thank you guys for watching Update 5 on Now Tropical Storm Elsa. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And just to keep up to date with this storm and any upcoming storms in the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Thank you guys for watching, and signing off.